had quite a few people write in about what is Christmas in prison like. And it's a time when people are reflecting on the mistakes they've made, mistakes that have got them away from their loved ones on this particularly important season. So suicides peak as people reflect that they can't be around their loved ones. Drug use, illegal alcohol consumption rise as people try and block out the feelings they have surrounding this season. There is a depressing energy on the yard that's palpable. You're thinking your family's out there having fun, celebrating right now, and here you are, you've messed your life up, choosing crime, landed yourself in a tiny bathroom whereby you just sleep next to the toilet, and best thing you can do to get a hold of your family is get on the line to the phone, speak to them for about 10 minutes after queuing up for ages, and then you just get cut off and you got to pay like $10 just to make that call. So yeah, throughout my incarceration, I documented my experience so I can really fill in the details on what Christmas is like by looking at an entry from my blog that I also put in my book, Prison Time. The new edition of Prison Time is about to go on Amazon this week, actually. And it should be, people asking about Audible next year. So here's one of my last Christmas periods in prison. I think it was around 2006, because I was lucky enough to get out in December of 2007, just in time for my next Christmas. So, stand by for chow, yard one. You're going to breakfast first. So that's the announcements over the speaker system, getting up in the morning. On a cold, crisp Christmas morning, below a pink and blue sky, I joined the prisoners drifting towards the chow hall, mostly depressed as if suffering a virus. A few swap gang handshakes. Merry Christmas, homie. Happy Hanukkah, you sarcastic motherfucker. Happy Kwanzaa, dog. Feliz Navidad, ese. Breakfast is pancakes, scrambled eggs, cinnamon rolls, cereal, and an apple. Bear in mind that might sound good to some people, but they're all like mini portions, so you're absolutely starving. A guard with a clipboard checks off names and boasts how hungover he is, antagonizing us. The din is lower than usual. There's a constant din in the chow hall, but because of this depressed state, the din is quiet. Our expressions rueful. The rising sun floods the room with light, illuminating dust motes dancing over our food. I'll never forget those dust motes in the chow hall, Sonoran Desert, sun rising. These shafts of light come in, and because the room's full of dust, you just see all this dust just like dancing over your food. It's almost surreal. After 15 minutes, the guards order everyone out. You've got 15 minutes from the time you get in, get your food, sit down, and get out. So you've got to chew really fast. And if there's anything left on your tray when those 15 minutes are up, tough. You got to leave it in there or try and smuggle it out. But if you get caught smuggling it out, then you got a whole new set of problems. The prisoners rise from tables strewn with spilt milk, cornflakes, and apples stabbed to prevent hooch brewing. So apples have been stabbed by the staff to try and stop the prisoners from making illegal alcohol. We retire to our cells. While I reflect on being absent from my loved ones, a sad silence spreads across the yard. No basketball, no pull-ups or dips at the workout stations, no squabbling, no motherfucker this and dog that, no announcements. At least it's my last Christmas here, I tell myself. I read to take my mind off the mistakes I made that cost almost 6 years of my life. At Building B, a guard starts a security walk. Put away your hypodermic needles. Don't let me catch anyone drinking hooch. By the time the swing shift arrives, the sun is shining through a sky mottled with clouds like a cow's hide. In a slow, sarcastic voice, an announcement comes. We would like to take this opportunity to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and to thank you for providing us all with such a wonderful 2006. So that was the guard just destroying everybody's Christmas with his sarcastic voice. Now the whole yard just goes off. Merry fucking Christmas to you too. Thank you very much, motherfucker. Come and say that to our faces, fucking bastards. The guards get off on causing rises amongst the prison population. So the guard, now that everyone's reacting, continues with, and you'll all be pleased to know that we fully intend to keep up the time-honoured Christmas tradition of shaking your houses down. So while everybody's depressed, the guards are going to come in our cells now, grab our mattresses, grab our bedding, throw it on the floor. If there's any pictures of our family members, girlfriends up and stuff like that, they just look at them, trash them, throw them on the floor. So they're just going to antagonise the prisoners even more when you've already got this almost explosive situation. But we got really unlucky this Christmas because we've got a guard come in that everyone hates. 2 guards, a female and a Mexican, we call the Fruit Nazi, for overzealously confiscating apples and oranges from inmates exiting the chow hall, raid cells, scattering property, confiscating food, thwarting hooch operations, and handing out disciplinary tickets. Late afternoon, we emerged for a surprise. The gatekeepers, a young and high-spirited choir, sing carols from the other side of the razor wire. Briefly, I'm not a prisoner anymore. I'm someone's son, brother. I'm human again. At dinner time, skimpy portions of roast beef, broccoli, and watery mashed potato that reeks of bleach provoke outbursts that unsettle the guards. Tension remains high. After eating, I join a queue for phones that barely work. Written on the faces of the prisoners are the usual concerns. Will our loved ones be home? Will they accept the expensive reverse call charges? Unable to get through, some prisoners hang up, cursing life. Nearby, a demolition team of pigeons is pecking the plastic off chow trays abandoned by the guards. From a gust that deposits sand in my mouth, Chihuahuan ravens descend, a vortex of big black birds with a purple and blue iridescence, scattering the pigeons and ravaging the spoils. The nature in the Sonoran Desert always blew my mind. Just watching the ravens, the tarantulas, the lizards, the prairie dogs. A final announcement at 7:55 p.m. Yard 1, wreck is over. Take it in and lock down. The atmosphere is so heavy, I'm thankful that Christmas Day is nearly over. So there you have it. That's how I exactly documented Christmas Day. Sounds a bit depressing, but if you're familiar with me, my story, my channel, you may remember 2 Tonys. The mafia guy left the dead bodies of rival gangsters from Arizona to Alaska serving 141 years. He always had a positive mental attitude. And on Boxing Day, 2 Tonys comes to the fence and we're having a chat. And he's lifting my spirits back up now. So I'll read you the conversation with 2 Tonys. How the fuck was your Christmas? He asks. Not too bad. The day before, I got a visit from a woman, which gave me a boost. We got a little kissing action in. And she said she's coming back soon. How was your Christmas? Good. I ain't got no beefs. Let me ask you something, Shaun. You ever heard of Chad or Somalia or Sudan? Yep. Well, how nice a Christmas do you think those poor motherfuckers had? He says, raising his chin. I see what you're saying, I say, nodding. Do you know how many pieces of apple pie I got? To Tony's asked. No. 3 and 2 issues of roast beef. The roast beef might have looked like shoe leather and tasted like shoe leather, but that's okay, because guess what? Ivan Denisovich would have snorted those motherfuckers up with his left nostril and been as happy as if he were having supper with Mikhail fucking Gorbachev, the Russian president. So whenever the prisoners complained about anything where we were at, recreation doesn't start on time, breakfast is cold, two Tonys would always compare it to how Ivan Denisovich had it in the Russian gulag, where it was so cold, if you spit, your spit freezed mid-air. They're working these guys to death. If you refuse to work, you're dragged to death by horse, thrown off a cliff, hung from a tree. They're losing their digits, nose, ears, fingers to frostbite. So to Tony's, this was his main thing in his positive mental attitude, was how bad Ivan had it. How can we complain breakfast is cold when where Ivan was housed, they were fighting over a fish eyeball in the soup just to stay alive? And I even to this day, when bad things start to happen in my life, when I get challenges, I remember two Tonys died in 2010, sadly, from liver cancer from his own drug taking. But I remember his spirit has been infused in me now. I remember just to think about how bad Ivan had it and how two Tonys laughed when everybody was complaining about things. And that gives me his positive mental attitude. So we both laughed. That's my barometer now, two Tonys said. How rough Ivan had it. Imagine being happy to lick some carrot gruel off a spoon. Or having to ride the cook's leg to come up with some extra gills and tails in your fish eyeball soup. Or Sling Blade. Sling Blade was this massive Vietnam vet who had a flashback, killed his father-in-law, serving life sentence, totally mentally ill. He'd be on the rec yard just giggling and drooling at himself and just staring around, and nobody would go near him. They were scared he was just going to grab him, have a flashback and snap their necks. Or Sling Blade grabbing your bowl of oat mush, and you've got to go toe-to-toe with the fucking Neanderthal or starve to fucking death. My point is this. How the fuck can I complain when there's always somebody worse off? Of course I'd like to be chowing down on a Caesar salad, some escargot, a little bowl of scungilli, and some ravioli stuffed with spinach. I ain't gonna let those thoughts get me down. What did you do on Christmas Day? I said, smiling. Played a little casino card game with Frankie. Now, this is the Frankie who I just spoke to yesterday in hospital, who's about to die. He may even be dead right now. They said he had a day left. And one of the things that Frankie said to me yesterday was, I'm going to join Two Tonys. Because Two Tonys and him were close, and Two Tonys, he knows Two Tonys is dead. Yeah. Right, going back to this anyway. Played a little casino card game with Frankie. Watched a little TV. Sang some fucking Christmas carols to myself. Silent Night, Jingle Bells and all that shit. How the fuck can I get depressed in here? This is my retirement home. Not just any motherfucker qualifies to be in here, you know. You don't just hop on a bus and say, driver, take me to the big house. This is an exclusive club. You got to put some serious work in to get here. And what's good about it is they can never kick me out. Because I'm doing life. If things get shitty, I just got to tell myself, get a grip, man. What would Ivan Denisovich be thinking? Would he be raising hell about his waffles being cold in the morning? Would he fuck? Like I've said before, that's PMA, bro. That's my positive mental attitude. I think it's really important. A lot of people right now, suicide goes up in the general population as well, outside of prison. If people haven't got family and stuff like that, a lot of prisoners don't have any family members. And I think it's really important to think about what Two Tonys said there, all these horrible things going around the world, and how good we do really have it. We focus on little things that stress us out and act like it's the end of the world. You know, when I was talking to Frankie yesterday, before I spoke to him, I've been having a bad day. Usually I wake up with a smile on my face, but a few little things had happened yesterday that caused me a bit of stress. Just mostly work stress, pressure that I put on myself. And then when I was talking to Frankie and he was telling me, I gotta go, it's time for me to go, I'm going to join Two Tonys. And basically he's just about to die any minute. I thought to myself, what a stupid bastard I was, putting this pressure on myself when I should just be glad that I'm alive. This guy was there and now he's going to be gone. At Christmas time, in the run up to Christmas time too, he's got this little daughter he put on the phone with me. It was so sad. But hopefully the death of both of these guys, we can take the positive out of it, especially with Two Tonys where he had this positive mental attitude, and the reality of Frankie's death just make us all appreciate what we've got at Christmas time. I spent all these hours working, and am I going to look back on that when I die? Or am I going to look back at the times I spent with my friends and the times I spent with my family? And I think Christmas gives us an ideal opportunity to spend that time with the people that we love the most, which is priceless. So from my YouTube channel to you, wishing you Christmas love and that you have a good period of time with your family and loved ones and partners and girlfriends. Appreciate all of your support in the last year. Take care and have a Merry Christmas. Thank you.